You know, when you think about Red Bull, you think about this massive global empire. But the guy behind it all, Dietrich Mateschitz, was personally pocketing annual dividends of up to $800 million. It's insane. He built the entire thing on a single, kind of weird product and created a whole new industry, literally from scratch. But the story of how he did it, well, it breaks just about every rule in the business playbook.
So how does that happen? It really is a paradox when you think about it. How did a drink that's expensive, and let's be honest, a lot of people don't even like the taste of, become one of the most recognized brands on the entire planet? To really get it, we have to go all the way back to the beginning.
And this story doesn't start in some fancy boardroom. Nope. It all starts in a hotel bar in Hong Kong with a simple cure for jet lag.
So picture this. It's 1982. Mateschitz is a marketing executive traveling all the time, and he's got a bad case of jet lag in Thailand. Someone gives him this local tonic, and boom, his jet lag just vanishes. A little while later, he's sitting in a hotel bar reading a magazine, and he sees an article listing Japan's top taxpayers. And the number one guy? The maker of these exact kinds of tonics. That's the light bulb moment. He realizes, wait a second, this stuff actually works, and the people making it are incredibly rich. So at 41 years old, he quits his job, finds the Thai producer, Chileo Yuhavidya, and they each put in $500,000. 3 years later, after tinkering with the formula, Red Bull launches in Austria.
Now this right here is the first massive clue into how this guy's brain worked. When people would ask him about the, let's call it, unique flavor of Red Bull, he was completely dismissive. He wasn't trying to make another soda to compete with Coke or Pepsi. He was playing a totally different game.
And this was his game. He called it a functional product, or an efficiency product. The whole idea was that you weren't drinking it to quench your thirst. You were drinking it as a tool to enhance your performance. This simple idea, this reframing, changed absolutely everything. It meant the taste didn't have to be great. It just had to be the taste you associated with getting the effect.
I mean, just look at this line from an early business brochure. There is no market for Red Bull. We will create one. The pure, unfiltered self-belief there is just incredible. Mateschitz knew he wasn't trying to fit into an existing box. He was betting everything that he could build a whole new one. And a move that bold requires a completely different approach to market it.
And this is where the real genius of Dietrich Mateschitz kicks in. He understood that to create a market out of thin air, first you have to grab people's attention, and he was willing to do it by pretty much any means necessary.
This was his core belief. Being ignored was death. He thought it was far, far worse for people to not care about you than for people to criticize you or even misunderstand you. He'd rather have people talking trash about Red Bull than not talking about it at all. And he put this philosophy to work in a truly wild way.
So instead of fighting all the bizarre rumors that started spreading about his drink, he basically encouraged them. You know, is it made from bull testicles? Does it have secret amphetamines in it? He let those stories run wild. Then when several countries in Europe actually banned the drink, well, that was the best free advertising he could have ever dreamed of. It created this aura of mystery and danger, turning it into the ultimate forbidden fruit.
And if you need any proof that this bonkers strategy actually worked, look no further. 33 million. That's how many cans were sold in Germany in just the first 3 months after their ban was lifted. The demand was just explosive. His marketing worked so well, it created a thriving black market before the product was even legally on the shelves.
So from there, Mateschitz took that initial buzz and scaled it into a global content empire. He decided that Red Bull wouldn't just sponsor the culture, it would become the culture.
And this chart breaks it down perfectly. A traditional brand, they pay to slap their logo on someone else's race car. The Red Bull way? Just own the car, the team, and maybe the whole race itself. Other companies buy a 30-second ad slot during a big event. Red Bull is the event. They don't just buy airtime, they create hundreds of hours of their own content.
And this is the key to the whole thing. Red Bull isn't really a beverage company at all. It's a marketing conglomerate. Get this, they don't even make the drink. They outsource all the production and bottling so they can focus 100% of their energy on what they're truly good at, building and distributing the world of Red Bull.
And this chart really tells the whole story, doesn't it? A massive 70% of the company's resources are dedicated purely to marketing and creating content. They're a media house that just happens to sell an energy drink to fund it all. The brand is the product.
But none of this would have ever happened without the really unique, deeply held, and sometimes pretty eccentric principles of Dietrich Mateschitz himself. The company is, through and through, a direct reflection of who he was.
Let's start with his financial code, which was built on one core idea: survival. He was terrified of debt, so for the first 15 years, he and his partner took zero dividends out of the company. Not a dime. Every single dollar of profit was plowed right back into the business to fund growth and, more importantly, to make sure Red Bull could never be threatened by outside forces. And the payoff for all that patience and discipline? Well, it's pretty staggering. After he passed away, his son received a dividend payment of $615 million for a single year. That is the incredible power of long-term thinking.
And his personal code was just as unconventional. He always said his main motivation wasn't money, but freedom and independence. He was hopelessly loyal. His original partnership for bottling was sealed with a handshake, and it's lasted for decades. He was so private, he once bought an entire magazine just to make sure he'd never have to appear in it. And above all else, his ultimate goal for the business was simple: to have fun.
So, when you boil it all down, this is the key. The success of Red Bull isn't really about taurine or caffeine. It is the physical manifestation of one man's philosophy. It's his aversion to debt, his obsession with control, his marketing genius, and his absolute, relentless pursuit of fun.
And in his own words, you really see what drove him. He didn't build this massive empire for the money or for the fame. He built it because he loved the process, the challenge, the climb itself.
And all of this leaves us with a really powerful question. Red Bull proved that you can sell a product without ever really talking about the product itself. So maybe the future of branding isn't about what you sell, but about the world you build around it.